Hey guys, Cam for 15, back at it with another video for you guys, back with another Spy X Family episode review for you guys, as we are continuing on with more Spy X Family greatness. Now, I know I missed the last few episodes, but the last few episodes were really good. This whole, I guess, school bus arc with them finding a way to get away from basically this terrorist group like raiding the bus. It was really crazy. It was really cool, inventive. Honestly, thought Lloyd and Yor would get involved, but no, it's actually straight up an Anya type of Damian type of thing. And then you do get the aftermath with that to end off the arc and we actually do see how Melinda truly feels about Damian. Insanity, right? Insanity, bro. This group, look, I'll bring it up. But anyways, this whole arc was kind of just around like this group that was raiding this bus because they're trying to escape the country. Or two, they're also trying to free their comrades who are in prison, and they know like, oh, these people, these kids, they have ties to very wealthy families, and we can hold these kids hostages because guess what? We hold kids hostages, they're gonna have to give up, right? So they're like supposed to go on a field trip to a museum, but they ended up getting bus jacked, and the dude comes in and legitimately just takes over the bus, right? And they start driving, and they're just starting to drive. Now, it was kind of cool to see what Anya and the other kids were trying to do. Like, they tried to stand up to these dudes and like, please sit down, otherwise you're gonna get killed, right? And they're like, okay, okay. And of course, kids are not gonna do much of anything because they're afraid, right? And stuff like that. So that's when Anya and Becky come up with this plan. Like, we gotta call, at least get some help, right? So Becky basically writes a note and throws out her ID, and throws it out the window to alert people, right? Now they get wind of it, and it's already too little, too late. And next thing you know, it's like, uh-oh, this is definitely a problem. And they're like, great, you ruined, you exposed who we are. So, because of this, Anya said it's my idea. So she stands in front of Becky before Becky gets potentially hurt, and they basically drop or put a bomb collar on Anya, which is absolutely insane. And it's like, and dude is like, listen, if you even as so as think of getting any ideas, I will blow your head off, right? And this actually gets Anya scared for a bit, and she's like, oh. And this scares everybody else and everything. And she doesn't do much of anything. That is until she uses her telepathy, overhears the guy, and like the dude's like, that's not a real bomb, it's just a dud, it's just a decoy to get these kids to feel scared, right? Which was absolutely hilarious because then Anya's like feeling all confident, everybody's like, what the hell? And then she's all touching it and ticking at it and everything, and everybody else is like, Anya, don't do it, you're gonna try to kill us all. But it's funny how everybody's reacting to her, and they're like, whoa, she's actually fairly calm, right? She's being fairly calm about this, right? So then what ends up happening is they end up getting, they end up driving some more, but they end up getting like gridlocked, and there's nothing they can really realistically do about anything, right? They get realistically gridlocked by the police officers, and you even have it where like you have the state security, like they don't give a crap, bro. Like they're willing like just shoot into that bus and kill them, even if it's at the cost of kids' lives being lost, which is absolutely insane. Like the secret police is like, oh, blah 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 blah, right? But essentially, that's not what happens. They make the kids cover up the bus so they can't see what the hell's going on in there. So it makes them wait out the process. And the dude gives his ultimatum saying, like, look, we'll let the kids go if you let us go and you release our comrades from prison. You do that, and we'll leave these kids alone. So that's the whole plan that they have in mind to do, which it's crazy to say the least, right? So then what ends up happening is throughout this whole issue, because Damian feels or has feelings for Anya, he straight up mans and he's like, "Hey, I'll wear the bomb too. Take the bomb off her neck and put the bomb thing on me." And obviously, dude is like, "All right," and he basically fakes Damian out and puts another bomb, thing on him. And he's like, "Wait, that wasn't a part of the deal." He's like, yeah, hot shot. You said you." He's like, "Look, I commend your courage. At least you have some courage to stand up. So, and take a bullet for the girl. But no, we're gonna make sure we cover all our bases." And you do get this nice moment where Anya does grab his hand because he's obviously getting afraid and everything. And Anya just grabs his hand, basically kind of reassuring him, but then at the same time, she does her funny git. It's hilarious how like you think they have these moments where they're gonna finally connect, they're finally gonna agree and be friends with each other. Um, and then it's mostly coming from Anya's side. She just misconstrued things and just makes the situation worse. And I'm just like, oh, brother Anya, come on. If you had any semblance of just thinking, right? But she's a little girl, right? Now maybe, if there's like a time skip at some point and she's older, yes, maybe I think she would know what to do. And stuff like that. But yeah, I just find it funny how these two banter back and forth and everything. So there's that, right? But anyways, things are starting to ensue, and Anya basically eventually at some point starts begging for food, and she doesn't really care, and she's not backing down. They even get the teacher to come into the bus, to try to reassure all the students and everything. And he was even impressed with the fact that Anya's standing up to these dudes, right? And by Anya doing that, it made the leader, basically reflect about his previous life. And one of his co-workers essentially is like, "Dude, come on, you can't let them tempt you. You can't buy into this whole situation. Like, you're doing this for your daughter." And he even had his own scheme of like, well, if he ain't gonna freaking have the courage to go through with it because he's getting all like softy on me, I'll blow this whole bus sky high, right? Like, he had a backup plan. Like, he was willing to like damn near kamikaze himself and take people down with him. But hey, that's what people of those ilk do when they're in desperate situations, right? So essentially what you see happen is for example, what you see is dude remembers his past. So we found out like this, he sees his daughter within Anya. And in the past, his daughter, I guess you can say, was kind of like the people we see now today, where they're very against what the government wants to do, and they want to voice their opinion and stand up and say like, no, this is not right. You're not doing this for the people. You're doing this because your own government reasons, right? And essentially, the dude straight up remembers that, and he basically tells his daughter like, "Hey, look, just be careful. Just be careful." And she's like, "Don't worry, I'll be careful," right? And is later revealed like she ended up getting killed. I guess the protesting got crazy and the government took things in their own hands and they didn't like the protesters and they basically shot at her and she got caught in the crossfire and she died. And because of this, that's what made this guy want to go against the government, because he feels like, no, you killed my daughter because she was peacefully protesting and she didn't mean anything by it. And everything, like you saw how, he got in an argument over it, and in a weird way, he kind of had that whole moment where he never told her like how much he loves her before she left and before she went away. And he even recalls another moment where at a happier piece in time and stuff like that. So it's like, it's a nice lesson to really understand and know, like, hey man, when you have any family member in your life, bro, like legitimately, like, tell them you love them, tell them goodbye, tell them safe travels and be safe and be okay. But most importantly, at the end of the day, just tell them that you love them, because you don't know, you can come back home, next thing you know, somebody's knocking on your door saying like, yeah, I don't mean to bring news to you, but yeah, so-and-so passed away, got killed in a tragic accident, because that's what happens. Because you don't know, and it's just for everybody, you can step outside one day, think you're going about your business, doing one thing, and next thing you know, boom, it's over. So it was a very sad story, and because of this, he concedes, and he basically is like, I'm going in. And because he realizes what he's doing is wrong, putting, these kids' lives at jeopardy just for some revenge that is not going to bring his daughter back. And that's realistically what, the whole purpose of what he was doing. He was doing it for revenge. Yeah, he was doing it for his group, and to get his comrades out, but he was doing this mostly for revenge of his daughter. And Anya made him wake up to it. So his accomplice tried to do crazy shit, but they ended up stopping him, and he ended up getting arrested because they put down the tax, or the tax to blow out the tires of the bus and everything. And then in this week's episode, essentially what you have is you have it to where you get the aftermath of the incident. Everybody's parents is coming to pick these kids up. Also, there was a funny side story in this whole thing. So Yuri, Yor's brother, he was very reluctant to want to save Anya because he's like, oh, I do not like that kid. I do not like that kid. But then he realized, like, wait, my sister will love me and praise me if I save her. Oh, yes, I could use that. Again, this man has a massive ass sister complex, where he just is in love with his sister, bro. Like the man, like I guarantee you, if Yor were to strip down and say, Yuri, I know. No, I know I'm going the I route, but I'm just saying, like, if Yor were to legitimately just take her clothes off and say, do it right now with me, right? This man, Yuri, would take every chance because that's how much he loves his sister. Jeez Louise, bro. I honestly think it's wild. He loves his sister in a romantic way. Not even in a brotherly, I admire my sister. This dude loves his sister as if the next thing, right? But then again, he also wants to show up Lloyd. But I did find it funny how he was kind of the one that also stopped the other bus in his thing. So that's kind of the whole thing. Which is funny how we didn't get any interaction between Yuri and Yor in this past episode where he's like, hey, Yor, didn't you not understand what I've done? I helped save your daughter. No. But again, I'm always for more Yuri moments because his ass is funny, bro. I'd be cracking up, right? I hope Yuri and Fiona need to meet up with each other, bro. I think they make a funny couple because Yuri's in love with freaking Yor. Fiona's in love with freaking Lloyd, bro. Dude, absolutely. I think they would make the perfect pairing. But you do have it to where all the parents come back and pick them up and everything, and they're obviously getting emotional. And basically, all alone is just Damian and Anya and everything. And Damian's kind of like, I bet you look at me pathetic because my mom's not here at all, right? And obviously Anya feels for him and is like, no, it's okay. Well, my mom's not here too, so yada yada yada. But eventually, if you ever where Yor is like, Miss Anya, and she was right the entire fucking time, bro. And even the one teacher's like, okay. So there's that, and obviously Yor's like, Miss Anya, are you okay and everything? I hope you're not hurting. She's like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm good. And, obviously the teacher's like, well, she displayed brave elegance of being confident and not staying again. But at the end of the day, Anya's a kid. She starts crying, and obviously she runs to Yor and goes into her arms because again, at the end of the day, she's a kid. She was probably more than likely scared, albeit she did the best she could to not look like it, but she was scared. Like, she's a little girl, bruh. What do you expect? And obviously because of this, Damon still is a little sad because he's like, my mom's not here yet. And obviously Yor's like, oh, your mom? Oh, you're Damian, right? Yeah, I saw Melinda actually driving on her way. So Melinda actually drives in and she's like, Damian, and he's like, mom, and everything, right? And they kind of have him embraced, and then basically, what is it? Damian's like, hey mom, can you please not tell dad that I was crying and everything? I was just scared a little bit, right? Because it seems like, according to his father, I guess his father must not like weak-minded children. And you get this insane look like Melinda gave Yor back in a few episodes ago. You just have this insane look where Melinda's looking down at Damian. Anya is reading Melinda's mind, right? And she's looking at Damian in this intimidating way, like this just like disgusting way at Damian. Um, and and this is after, like, Damian made the mention, like, don't tell dad about this, right? And you just have it to where Anya's reading her mind, and Melinda is legitimately saying, shut the hell up, shut the hell up, stop talking, you're pathetic, you're a waste of my time, you're nothing, you're a mistake. Basically, we're finding out, like, Melinda does not love Damian at all. She does not love Damian. If anything, she hates Damian. Now listen, we already know, like, Damian has an older brother. And it's clear the older brother is the more accomplished one. But the fact that seemingly it looks like, Desmond and Melinda have no feelings, no love whatsoever for Damian is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And they don't give a rat's ass about him. It's like they're like thinking like, no, we're only supposed to have one child and this one is just a mistake that happened. Well, number one, why were you probably getting down and dirty doing the deed? Only other explanation, which it would be too deep for this show to go into, right? But then again, we just did get that Lloyd backstory where it was pretty dark in its own right? The only other mention could be like, oh, Melinda had a secret affair with someone else, and that's what spawned Damian. But the way that she was talking about Damian, Anya heard that, it's like, oh, this family probably, no, they need to be taken out because they don't even love their kid. She was literally looking at this kid with pure hate, like as if this person as if Damian was never supposed to be born. And Anya's hearing all this and she's like, what the fuck? So next day happens. Anya's getting a lot of, they get Stellas, right? They all get Stellas. The one dodgeball dude, the big dude that doesn't look like a freaking kid, bro. He looks like a freaking 16-year-old kid, dude. He looks like a teenager. Damian, Becky, and Anya, they get a Stella for their bravery of, standing up to, the people, and everything, right? And obviously because of it, they get basically recognized by the class. They're like, oh, yada, 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 right? Because at first it was Damian getting applauded and saying, look, oh, Lord Damian, hi. And then he eventually looks over and sees, Anya and Becky getting recognition. And they kind of, again, do their banter back and forth in these beef. It's absolutely hilarious. And Anya does get the good ideas like, maybe if I can't go over to his house, maybe he can come over to my house. Which I'm just like, okay. Look, or regardless, it's funny because it ends in them arguing over and everything, over and over. And eventually the class was just like, oh, so this is, same old, yeah, nothing special to see here. And they just all walk away, and they ended up being late to class anyway, which was funny. But I have to wonder, with the fact that Damian's being kind of mistreated by his family, and we do see before Damian went to school, his mom did make him breakfast. So I don't know, I don't know. I feel like she made him that breakfast in spite, because she could have been at the table. Because his butlers didn't really mention if she was busy. But I have to wonder if at some point, with Anya knowing now that, like, Melinda does not like Damian at all, right? And has no care about it, or care about him. Like, is there gonna be a moment in the story where maybe Yor and Lloyd maybe potentially take in Damian and look after him? And maybe Damian, or maybe they're teasing a point where Damian does go over to Anya's place at one point, right? Maybe Yor finds him, or Melinda's like, hey, can you take care of I got some things to take care of. Can you watch Damian? And maybe they go over and Damian sees, that Anya's family is, and Lloyd and Yor, they're more of a family than what he gets at his place. And he wants to probably be a part of that, something like that. It would be very interesting if by the end of the story, maybe Damian does start, I still think at the end of the day, I do eventually think, because I don't read the manga, right? I do think Lloyd and Yor will eventually find out their secret identities. He'll find out she's an assassin. She'll find out he's a spy. they might butt heads about it to create some drama, but then they'll realize, and they might, because of it, it will split them apart. But for that time being apart, they're gonna realize they actually do need each other. And as much as, you know, one, we already know like Yor does have feelings deep down for Lloyd, and she does actually. We have seen through the course of these 3 seasons, and including the movie too, right? She truly does care about Lloyd, and she actually is falling for him, right? And it's kind of up to Lloyd to actually move away the spy thing. And I do think, you know, over and over, he's starting to change, especially now getting the backstory about family and everything, about his losing his family and him wanting to probably be a better family man. You know, I can 100%, you know, see like he has to get over it. And maybe that's why his spy agency people will eventually be like, you know what, man, look, dude, stop being a spy, bro. We'll watch your back and we'll make sure you're okay, but like, dog, you don't need to be a spy anymore. Go live with your family, bro. It's care. You know, I think that's how the story's gonna end at the end of the day. I think that all of them are gonna know each other, you know, what special abilities they have. I think eventually at some point they're gonna know that Anya's a telepath, you know, and I think at that point they're gonna be okay with it, and they're gonna know like, okay, we're okay. Now I don't know as for Yor, is she gonna continue doing the assassin work, but you know, we'll see. That's what makes this family special, and I could perfectly see it where maybe they take in Damian, and Damian wants to be with them because that's the actual family. And regardless, at the end of the day, I still do think, you know, we could potentially get a time skip down the road where Anya and Damian are obviously an item, right? Because that's clearly what you hint at, right? And things like that. So overall, another great episode of SpyXFamily. Definitely liking where it's going. It seems like we're going to be dealing with some, I guess, Yor at our workplace, you know, routine type of stuff, which I'm always for because I always like that stuff. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button. If you want to get more SpyXFamily content or any other anime content, I upload to the channel. But until then, guys, have a safe rest of your day. And until then, guys, peace.